Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 9 of Robin Williams' 1980s movies. So, I'm not including his movies, his little appearance in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen and everything. I'm not going to include that in this ranking because he's only a cameo in that, and these are starring roles. So, everything. And this isn't going to be a full list of all of his movies, just the ones that came out between 1980 and 1989 and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and get going. Coming in at number 9 is Club Paradise. This movie is pretty good, but it's not really great. It's one that I think is a good watch when you watch it, but as soon as you're done, you're going to kind of forget about it because it's not very memorable and everything. Like, it's an okay movie, and I enjoy watching it when I do watch it, but there's not anything I can even really recall about this movie that was like special or funny or anything like that. It's just an okay when you watch it type of movie. It's not one that I like to rewatch very often unless I'm just watching Robin Williams stuff and everything. But it has some good moments. It has a good cast, and here and everything you got Eugene Levy, Rick Moranis, Iggy Pop, and stuff. So they're all good in here. Everything. I think Eugene Levy and Rick Moranis are really funny in here too. But Robin Williams doesn't get as much to do in this one, even though he's the lead character. I just felt like he wasn't as poppin' as he usually is in his other stuff. But this movie is easily my least favorite movie out of the ones he did in the 80s. So it's number 9. And number 8 is The Survivors. This one and the next few I think are kind of underrated movies and everything. This one I think is kind of an underrated one. It kind of has the same problem that Club Paradise has, where it's kind of forgettable and everything, but it's not as forgettable. It's still got some really hilarious moments and stuff. Walter Matthau and Robin Williams work really good together and everything. Their styles of comedy, I don't necessarily think shouldn't work together and everything, but for some reason I think it does work pretty good. Not as good as it could have, but I think it does work good enough and everything. And I enjoyed this movie. I think this movie is pretty underrated. So The Survivors is number 8, and number 7 is The Best of Times. Now this one is one that, kind of like The Survivors, I think is kind of forgettable too, but I also think it's underrated. It's got a good central performance from the two main leads, Robin Williams and Kurt Russell, and they work really good together and off of each other, so I think that they're good in here. And it's got a good enough story. It's just not the most entertaining movie there is in it. It's not the most memorable of either one of their filmographies, so it's definitely one that I think is just okay. So The Best of Times is number 7, and number 6 is Seize the Day. I absolutely love this movie. I think Robin Williams is really, really great in here, and this movie is really underrated, but I can understand why people don't like it because it's not the best quality. Like the sound and stuff is not very good. You can't hardly hear the dialogue and everything, and it's very, very low budget and poor quality. I don't know if it was meant to be a TV movie or what, but it was not very well made at all and everything. So, but it's got such a good story and really great performance from Robin Williams. So it kind of is a mixed bag for me on that movie, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's actually a really good story and good movie and everything. It's just kind of hard to get through because of the sound and stuff on it. So Seize the Day, while not the best movie ever, I think it is still a good enough time and everything. And it's number 6. And number 5 is Popeye. Now, this movie, I think, gets way too much hate and everything. I do get that it's not one of the best musicals ever. It does not have as many upbeat and popping songs to make it as memorable as some musicals and stuff. I can get the musical aspect turning people off, but I don't think this movie was near as bad as people said it was. Robin Williams, I thought, was pretty good as Popeye. And Shelley Duvall was spot on perfect for Olive Oil and everything. So I think they're really great in this movie, and the rest of the supporting cast are all good enough in their roles, and it's a good enough time. Not a perfect movie by any means, but not the worst way to start your career on and everything. While this isn't his first movie, this is his first starring role, and it's not a terrible way for him to start his career. A live action cartoon person like Robin Williams playing a cartoon character in live action is a fun idea and everything, and I think it works enough and everything. So Popeye is number 5, and number 4 is Moscow on the Hudson. I absolutely love this movie. It's another one that I really kind of grown to appreciate over the years. It was one that I always liked it when I was a teenager and stuff, but the older I get, the more I appreciate this movie. It just is a really good story about a Russian man who goes to America to live the big dream and stuff, and Robin Williams is just absolutely amazing in this role and everything, and he really brings the character to life and has some really good moments and stuff, and I really enjoy this movie. So Moscow on the Hudson is number 4, and number 3 is Dead Poets Society. Now this movie has really grown on me. I've always enjoyed it and stuff. I've never hated this movie by any means, but there was something about this rewatch and everything. I really like this movie a lot more when I rewatched it this time. I think it's a really good movie and everything. So Dead Poets Society is number 3, and number 2 is Good Morning Vietnam. Now most people would probably put this at number 1, and I could completely understand why. This is a really great movie, one of his best movies. It was the first movie to get him an Oscar nomination, and he is absolutely amazing in it. I love the story in this one, his friendship with the people in the community and stuff and everything. It's just really well written and everything, and the end of it just, it's kind of sad and bittersweet seeing him leave Vietnam and stuff, but it's done really well, and it's a really great story and a great movie. So I really love Good Morning Vietnam. It's a really awesome movie and everything. So it's number 2, and my number 1 favorite movie of Robin Williams' 1980s stuff is The World According to Garp. I absolutely love this movie. It is one of Robin Williams' most underrated movies, for sure. I don't know if I'd say it's his most underrated, but it might be. He's just really amazing in this movie. And it's a really good story about this kid that grows up and becomes an author and stuff, and it's just pretty much a slice of life story. Like, you follow him from being a baby up until he's an adult and until he dies and everything. It's like a life story and everything. It's not really a biopic, but it's a life story of a fictional character, and it's just told really well. It's got these really weird, quirky characters that you expect from the author of this book, that wrote The World According to Garp. The author of it, he wrote Simon Birch and a few other books that had been turned into movies, and I just love his characters and his weirdness. He brings these weird quirky characters and stuff, and Robin Williams and John Lithgow and Glenn Close and all these people, they just bring all these characters to life really well, and it's a really great movie. So The World According to Garp is easily my number 1 favorite movie of Robin Williams' 1980s movies. So anyway, let me know in the comments what your favorite movies that he did in the 80s were. If you want, tell me your favorite and least favorite, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.
Yeah!